Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Jim Pettit, CEO and President of Aben Resources. Welcome back to the show, Jim.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Jim, you've had a really, really busy year of drilling. How close are you to wrapping things up?
Things are wrapped up. We've actually finished now. We just put the final results out of, I guess it was a total of 25 holes for the season. And, it was a good program. It wasn't the high grade that we'd been working on the last few years, but you can only do so much in that high grade zone, and you got to move on and figure out where it came from, or is there more to it? And so ultimately, that's what we sought to do this year, is to increase the mineralized footprint in the boundary zone in general, not just the high grade north boundary zone. We're testing for outlying faults and shear structures that have potential mineralization, which we hit lots of that, and to ultimately, I guess, vector into a heat source or mineralizing source. That would give us some indications as to where it's coming from. What exactly are we looking for, and what kind of structure? So, in that respect, we did get a lot done. Just a couple of highlights, I guess, we could talk about that we achieved for the year was, the 25 more holes. We've drilled about 20,000 meters so far in the boundary zone, which is, 6 kilometers north-south by 2 kilometers east-west. Lots of new rock samples, lots of new soil samples, and 173 line kilometers of airborne mag. That geophysical survey was kind of driving the program this year to give us indications as to what we're looking for in terms of the outlying faults and shear structures and that sort of thing. So in that respect, I think it was very successful. I mean, as you head south from the north boundary zone, which is the high grade zone, we extended the mineralization to the south by about 700 meters. There's a corridor that shows up, and you can see it in the drilling in the holes. The mineralization, albeit lower than the high grade, ranges from trace to maybe 2 to 3 grams, but they're broad intersections, and all the holes have it. And it's all relatively shallow, and that corridor is still open at depth. On top of that, as we recall, the south boundary zone we drilled last year, that was a different type of mineralization. It's polymetallic. Well, there's a corridor there as well. It extends about 500 meters by about 200 meters wide. And it's got similar pattern there where you've got broader, lower grade mineralizing effect. Like you get these broader holes. And so it really changes what we're seeing and what we understood when we were only drilling in the north boundary zone, because that was quite unique. We've managed to complete 100% earn-in on the whole project now, the whole Forrest Kerr. We've got 100% of that now. And, there's a lot of new targets and ideas that they're sifting through right now to give us a plan for next year.
Where is all this action taking place?
Well, we're up in the northwest quadrant of British Columbia. It's called the Golden Triangle. We've been there since 2016, and it's been going quite well.
Can you give us a bit of a background for Aben Resources?
Well, we're a gold exploration company, focused primarily in Western Canada, which would include northwestern British Columbia and the Yukon. And I'm looking again back at the Saskatchewan-based Chico property, which is just on the southern border of SSR. They bought the CB mine and the Santoy deposit, and they're extending their interest to the south. They're drilling to the south, and it would come right onto our property eventually. But we're starting to look at that again. We had a little look at it a while back. It's still available to us if we want to move forward with it. And I'm going to Saskatoon next week to there's a geotechnical show there. And my guys are meeting with the First Nations guys there.
How important is it to have a good relationship with First Nations?
Very. Very. We thought we had a really good relationship with this First Nations group in Saskatchewan a couple of years ago, and we went and we had all the permits in place. We talked to them, but I think we walked right into the middle of an election for the band council. Got a little heated, so we just backed off. They've indicated to us they'd like us to come back, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to try to do that. I mean, I've got really good relations with the First Nations in British Columbia, the Tahltan, up in northwestern BC, exceptional relationships with them. So, it's something you have to do. And, there's hiccups along the way to be expected, I guess.
Who are the principals behind Aben?
Principals behind Aben? Well, the board is Ron Nedlisky's the chairman. I'm the president CEO, to, make most of the management decisions. Tim Termundi is on the board. He's very active, actually, with me. And, those two have a big history in the Golden Triangle area, as Ron was in on the discovery of Snip and Eskay Creek, and Tim's first jobs out of geology school at UBC was working for Ron up there. And then Cornell McDowell is running the program, and he's got it running very efficiently. For that neck of the woods, to come in at the price per meter that we are is pretty unheard of.
Jim, where are you traded and under what symbols?
We're traded on the TSX Venture under the symbol ABN. We're in the OTCQB under the symbols ABN AF, and the Frankfurt Bourse under E2L2.
And where can people find out more about Aben Resources?
Best place is to go to the website at abenresources.com.
Jim, thanks a lot for the update.
Anytime. Thanks.
I've been speaking with Jim Pettit, CEO and President of Aben Resources. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on November 28th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of Howe Street Media Incorporated.